so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality and the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness, which creates and animates all things. Now, of course, understanding this powerful truth is one thing. Applying this incredibly empowering wisdom to everyday life? Well, that's another, which is exactly why we provide you with a fresh serving of soul food for thought 5 days a week to help constantly remind you of what matters most. You are it. And I'm your host, Brandon Beecham. I'm the reflection and extension of you who will be here each Wednesday interviewing a different consciousness changemaker. And on the other 4 weekdays, leading the way to ensure that your perspective is consistently expanded, your vibration is constantly elevated, and your heart is overflowing and full. Also, before we jump into today's episode, I'd like to take about a minute and a half to tell you about a few sponsors that not only help to make it possible to produce this show 5 days a week, but that I'm also genuinely passionate about promoting. The first longtime stellar supporter of the show that I want to mention is Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online with over 8,000 video titles. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. The second sponsor I'm sincerely passionate about promoting is Purium. It's no mystery that bringing your mind, body, and spirit into balance is necessary if a person truly intends to manifest the greatest and grandest version of themselves. So if you've been looking for a way to easily get organic superfoods into your system every day with a simple plan that can help you reestablish a healthier foundation and relationship with food, like I was doing before I found Purium, I highly recommend going to positivehead.com/transformation and checking out the videos and interviews there where I dive deeply into discussions explaining why I take these products every day. And should you ultimately end up on iShopPurium.com to purchase any of their 50 plus amazing superfood products, be sure to use the code POSITIVEHEAD, all one word, for a 25% discount. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. Here we grow. It is 2019. This is the first time I've had the opportunity to flip on the microphone in 2019, and wow, is the year off to a magical start. And I actually missed the first New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I had a lot of magic swirling about, and with it being a holiday, the combination of the two things, I decided to follow the flow and not put out episodes on those particular days, which I've done here and there on holidays. But wow, things have really, really kicked off in an amazing, magical way that I am excited to share with all of you, and that affects all of you, and some of you even more than others. And I'll get to that in a few minutes, but everyone's thinking, what is he talking about? Before I do, I would like to take a quick moment to read a review on iTunes. You guys know I love my iTunes reviews. Not only do they help us to reach new people, but they also help to continue to fuel my fire to continue this labor of love. And Natalie V6 has taken the time to review on the holy grail of all things podcasting, iTunes, and I appreciate that. She wrote, obsessed. I love listening to you, Brandon, pretty much every day. I take lots of road trips, and nothing is better than infusing my mind with your wonderful podcast for 5+ hours. I've shared, wow, that's a long time. I've shared your podcast with a lot of my friends, and it's so cool to see how they are now shifting their thinking, and I don't feel so alone in the world with building my abundance. It's crazy on some days where I may feel a little out of alignment and I listen to your show, and on that particular podcast, it really hits home and resonates with how I feel. Keep on being awesome and changing the world one beautiful soul at a time. Oh, thank you, Natalie, for taking the time to complete the circle of love I'm putting out into the world. And yeah, it's so magical how it all kind of connects and feedbacks and reflects itself to itself. And actually, at the end of today's episode, I'm going to read an email I just received that sort of speaks to this and reviews. But before I do get to that, what I'd like to do is just kind of give you guys a breakdown of what's been going on in my world the last few days. And then we're going to sort of dive into the topic a little bit more of regarding synchronicity and following the flow and following these urges from the universe and getting, what's happening with all of us is we're really becoming more fine-tuned instruments. I mean, that's what your body is. It's an instrument, right? A lot of times you've just been broadcasting and using, speaking, having a lot to say, not listening to the messages, the signs as much, not being as aware of how these threads of connectivity are happening all around us. But now we're learning how to fine tune our instrument. This incredible, beautiful machine, that bio bodysuit that we have created for ourselves. And it has so much, it's so sensitive. I've even heard, just to give an example physically, like long hair actually acts like antennas to read information to some degree. It's like sensing its stimuli. And, we're so sensitive, and we've gotten so, as a society, of course, dull at times. We've cut off all of the abilities of our incredible system, and now a lot of them are coming back online, and it's just so exciting to see it happen for each and every one of us in its own way, in its own timing. So, some exciting news in regards to that. As to one of the reasons I didn't record the last few days, I was really on a whirlwind for several days. It all started on the 30th. I'm hanging out with my son Bradley, and he pulls up a podcast by Joe Rogan, right? Who's like one of the biggest podcasters, top 5 for sure. Certainly the biggest that touches on some of the weirder stuff that I do. Obviously, he doesn't go quite, it's a different format, but he definitely touches on, plant medicines and, some stranger concepts at times that maybe I go deeper down the rabbit hole of. But anyway, so, being so busy with my travel company, as you guys all know, that's really kept me, takes a lot of my time and energy for the last, ever since I've been running the show. It was my former travel company when I started the show, and then, sort of that crashed and burned with the story you've all heard, and then out of the ashes of that, a new one, and that's been growing and really starting to thrive. So between that and podcasting, 4 days a week, recording 4 days a week, I don't really listen to that many podcasts. I don't have a lot of bandwidth to, let me rephrase that. I haven't made it a priority to, right? And I've kind of always been that way. It's like, I like to, I'm almost, for better or for worse, it's like people ask me about like, oh, what do you think about this person does it this way or that way? And I've always been like, I almost don't even want to hear any other influences. I just like to do me and let it be, for better or for worse. And sometimes that's a really good thing. And sometimes you can learn a lot from other people, right? So I've been working on that one. But so I decided, since Bradley was pulled up Joe Rogan, and actually he has a video version of his as well, right? Which is the, showing him talking to his guest. But what instantly jumped out to me was, as I'm watching, here's this guy, each video has millions of views, and I'm interested because, of course, you've heard me talking for several years about moving into video and video production. And you've heard several of my intuitive guests predict that. I think maybe 5 of them now over the last few years are like, Brandon, you're going to move into video. You're going to reach a lot more people. So Bradley gets my attention by pulling this up on, YouTube. I'm watching it and I'm thinking, I'm someone who loves aesthetic and vibe. And, some of you have seen in my studio, there's a lot going on. There's a lot. In this case, case, it's very, very busy in here on purpose, but I really love my house. It's like super vibey. I just love everything from the look, the smell, the feel, I'm just really into all of that. And I'm seeing, here's just one of the biggest podcaster in the world. And I'm like, he's talking in front of a brick wall with an American flag behind him. And then his guest is in front of like crushed red velvet drapes or something. And I'm thinking, wow, where's the visual appeal? I want some visual appeal, right? And then it just gets my wheels going. You guys know how excited I get about ideas and stuff. And I've been talking for years about doing a, late night style talk show or variety show kind of thing. Or traveling around to do, optimistic is what the name that I came up with a year ago, and then MYSTIC, for traveling around and doing my interview styles and okay, now we're in Tibet, exploring this magical person doing this magical thing. Okay, now we're in South America. Now, and I, have talked to Gaia about putting that show together, and I sort of put it about a year ago at this time. I started really exploring that, and I even put together a trailer with my good friend, amazing, video wizard, Everett. And we, sat down with Gaia and talked to them about putting the show together. But it's just, especially traveling, takes a lot of doing, a lot of crew, a lot of logistics, right? And after sort of sitting with that, I decided not quite yet. My travel company needs too much of my time and energy. And so, yeah, let's just kind of put that on hold. And by the way, I'm not sure if I prefer doing that over the variety show, late night style show where, my guests come to me and I have the set and I have, it's like you're coming into my domain, my world, which I really love creating space and creating experience for people. So it's like, kind of put it on the back burner for stewing over both of these things over the last couple years. And then here in comes, on the 30th, Bradley playing Joe Rogan's video version of his podcast. And I'm like, man, I want to create something that's like so much, lots of vibe. Like, it just inspires me of what can be done. And just so happens, my friend, my video wizard, ninja monk friend, Everett, happens to be coming, which, by the way, we shot a trailer for Optimistic, the traveling version, a year ago. And I've never posted it or shared it. I should probably share it to the group. So if you guys remind me, I'll share it just so you can see it and see what an amazing job he did on that. And it's pretty cool concept. And even P-Head helped to design the logo and the whole thing. So shout out to Kelsey, P-Head extraordinaire, who designed that. So when you guys, if I post it and you see it, you definitely, she's an amazing artist. But anyway, so it just so happens that Everett, who I haven't seen in months and months, is back in town. He's been all over Egypt, Estonia, traveling, shooting videos. He's coming to town and we decide we're going to hang out. So he happens to be coming over later that day to come and, stay the night at my house. I have people come through pretty regularly. So I tell him, I get talking to him about, man, I saw the, Joe Rogan saying earlier, oh gosh, I want to create something, I'm ready to do something video. How do we make this happen in the new year? And I just kind of get myself excited, so put on your surprise face, talking about how can I make this happen. And I think, doing the variety show, late night style show where I have my own space would be much easier to tackle than going and traveling the world out of the gate. I could always do that later, right? Kind of like my guest that just synchronistically I released yesterday, David Verdesi. That's what he's been doing the last 25 years. He's or 30 years or whatever. He's been traveling around and documenting people doing all these magical things and, experiencing them firsthand. And he's actually looking at doing a show like that now, too, which interestingly enough. And even when I was talking to him, I was like, wow, this guy's already done what I'm thinking about starting, right? Over 30 years of it. And so meanwhile, all this considered, I'm really vibing back on the idea of doing the late night style show, or the variety show, right? It's much easier. I can probably, Everett, we can probably make this happen in 2019. I just need a space. I live currently in Orange County, which is about 45 minutes to an hour south of LA. towards San Diego, right? Kind of in between the two, closer to LA. But, all the biggest guests I would have on, like interview style soul shares, most of them come through Los Angeles. I mean, it's a hub, right? It's a hub of consciousness. So much happening there. It's like, I really need something near Los Angeles, though, and a big space where we can, just create an incredible vibe, and we'll make the compound, we'll make, the Mystic Manor, right? For the show Optimistic, this variety show, we'll make it out of our space, our house, and, get this compound, and I'm kind of get this whole vision. And then, of course, Venice is a hub, on the planet right now. Venice Beach is, they're calling it Silicon Beach because a lot of the tech companies are there, like Snapchat, and it's like, it's like kind of replacing Silicon Valley or competing with it in Southern California. So it's very expensive, super expensive there because, it's such a hot spot, and there's so much like festival community and consciousness related events, and just the idea of being there as opposed to 45 minutes hour south where there's not as much of that. So exciting to me, right? So I go to bed that night after kind of getting jazzed up on, I'm got to call it in. I got to, one of the other things I need to do is call in help with the travel company, because having an investor come in there would really help. Money would help to free up my time, right? Because I could then have other high level people who can actually duplicate some of the things I'm able to do from a business perspective. Like high level executives is what it would really take to be able to sort of replace me. So some capital investment there, a place in Venice, that would be ideal, man. That's what I need to call in, Everett. So I go to bed that night, and I wake up, as happens to me sometimes, with just like downloads of how to make it happen and how to do it. And what came to me is, so with my travel company, what we do, and I've never went into details about it on the show, but essentially we help legacy timeshare properties, old timeshare properties where people are giving back their inventory, not using it anymore. We help them to sort of revamp it and find new people to use it. And so, that's essentially what my travel company does. And it all of a sudden hits me. And okay, so get this. I had someone come to me in October I was at an event, and I might even have mentioned on the show, and he goes, I'm here tonight because Spirit told me I needed to come talk to someone, and it's you. And I was at a club, which is not typically a place I go, but I ended up there with my friend Chris. And so this person goes on to tell me his message that he's been getting. And one of it was, what you don't know yet is the two things are going to collide in a way you haven't seen yet. As far as, I told him my ongoing struggle is I've got this one thing with so much potential, this travel company, but my heart isn't doing the consciousness related stuff and, more positive head video version, TV show kind of thing. And he's like, what you haven't seen, what I'm here to tell you is they're going to combine in some way. Right. Well, here we are. I wake up, on the 31st, and it's like, what if, to get a huge, compound, a Mystic Manor, as I envisioned, right? It's going to take a lot, right? And then I got thinking about it. How many of the listeners, how many of you guys, how many P-heads have been reaching out to me over the years to do some kind of a retreat? And I thought, what if I actually take get a big place, take a room or two, and allow a different listener to come and stay for a week? Essentially, kind of like how a timeshare works, right? You get a week each year, and everyone kind of shares it, right? And it would be a retreat. They can be on the video show. They get some time with me. We figure out a whole thing where I do my whole thing, spending time. Let's talk about your personal life. How can I assist you? As my friend Ronit for the last year, Brandon, you got to start bringing people on so you can do your direct thing back and forth with them, because she's seen me affect a lot of her friends one-on-one, and she's like, that's the most powerful thing you do, and you're not even doing it on your show. So all of this kind of comes to me, how I could actually have a certain number of you guys come each week, or, I haven't figured out all the details exactly yet, how many weeks out of a year it would happen, but it would basically be different listeners coming in, staying, spending time there, being a part of the video production, meeting my interview guests, soul share guests that week, getting the full experience of this hub of consciousness that I would create in, the middle of one of the hottest cities on the planet, Venice Beach, California. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I get all this download comes to me. I go, I search, online. I go to Craigslist and find the first thing that comes up is this incredible mansion, right? Like this place looks like something out of Star Wars. And it's so incredible and beautiful. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this place. And so it had just been posted a few hours earlier. I contact them instantly. The guy's like, wow, I didn't even know this was listed. My assistant is out of the country and he must have put my number. I would normally never field these calls. But sure, I'll show you the place. So on New Year's Day, the first day, I go and meet with the owner of the house. One of the coolest, most amazing, energetic matches. It was like, it's so obviously meant. So this person is a real estate investor. He's so pumped on what I'm doing with the travel company and how he can get involved and help in that. And what I want to do with the house, with bringing you guys in and doing my show right out of the house, the interviewees, the soul share guest comes to the Mystic Manor. You guys, some of you guys are there, and we all turn into this variety show, right? And I don't know which idea he's more excited about. It was one of the coolest, obvious, meant to be connections ever. I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of business meetings in my life. And it was like just so obvious. Actually, after I record here, I'm going to meet with him for a second time to kind of dive in to the details, the particulars of how we would structure this, because he really wants to help on both fronts, right? And it's like, and meanwhile, this all goes down like when I go from going to sleep with this idea to waking Everett up the next morning. Look, I already got the house. Like, I'm meeting him tomorrow. And he's like, what? Like, how did you manifest it that quickly? And it's like, when you are in vibrational flow, things can happen instantly. I saw someone ask about vibrational escrow the other day. What is vibrational escrow? Abraham talks about this a lot. And someone posted in the group, the Positive Heads Facebook group. If you're not there, by the way, please come join us. And said, what is vibrational escrow? I hear about this, sometimes when Brandon plays Abraham clips. And essentially, it's as soon as you wish for something, you've created it in non-physical in an escrow. And escrow is a place where, like, if I'm doing a real estate transaction, the money's held, right? And say I'm going to buy your house, the money's held there until all the closing, all the paperwork signed, everything's done, all the whatever needs to be fixed is fixed. Then the money's released to you, right? So your vibrational escrow, as soon as you ask for something, like I did the night of the 30th, in my excitement in my conversation with Everett, the next morning it comes together in a way, and now here we are a few days later, and it's like it's moving so quickly. And what happens is when there's no opposition to it, things can go from idea to manifestation really, really quickly. What happens for a lot of us is we put it in vibrational escrow, we wish for it, but then we're not a match for it actually showing up. So I wish I was this or that or had this kind of job, but I actually have this kind of job and I hate it and it's awful and did it. And so now it's sitting there waiting for you. Created it instantly because you're a creator, infinite source, infinitely abundant being, but for it to manifest physically, you have to be in alignment with it. And for the last couple of years, I really had to work through my resistance to, I want to be doing more, consciousness raising activities on the planet, not just, recording, I'm spending 7 hours a week and my show's in the top 5 in the world in spirituality. What if I was actually putting all of my time and energy into it instead of this travel thing? But I knew this travel thing really has so much potential, and it just felt like I'm still supposed to keep my finger on the pulse there and keep, see it through till I can make a graceful exit. And lo and behold, it took me a while to get really comfortable and finally accept. For the last couple of years, I had moments where I'm like, frustration, like resistance to what the universe wanted for me, and realizing that it's all actually very spiritual, both projects, all the projects. And so, I moved into the state of complete surrender to it, realizing I have all the time in the world, no time, infinite time, and just trusting. And lo and behold, I've been in that state for quite some time of, I finally feel at peace with it all. It'll all unfold how it is. What type of show I should do, it'll be shown. It'll unfold naturally. I don't need to figure it all out now. I just need to relax and trust and flow into it. And here we are all of a sudden. Literally, that's what I'm spending day one of 2019, looking at this place that I believe very strongly is going to become a hub of consciousness on this planet that many of you are going to get the opportunity to come and stay a week and be a part of, and the whole thing. So super, super excited about that. It's so beautiful how it would check all the boxes. I really wanted to do a retreat with you guys. I just haven't had the bandwidth for it, as you've been asking, right? Finding someone who can help to create more resources into the travel company, which will free up my energy to do more of the other stuff. This person's coming into the picture as a very strong potential to handle both. I didn't expect that when I went to meet with them. I expected just to see about getting this house, not, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about your travel company. I want to get involved. I want to help. I want to invest. I want to, all those things. Now, here's the thing. It hasn't all, we're about to have our second meeting here later today. I feel very optimistic about it, pun intended. But if it didn't unfold, I know it's this or something better, right? So that's the thing. You can hear my excitement. You can hear how pumped I am about it all, but I'm also with a really healthy sense of detachment. And that's the thing. In the past, if things didn't go out, I would be devastated and, I want something to happen, and then it doesn't, and it never works out for me, and da-da-da. We've all had that journey. I don't care anymore in a good way, because the magic of how this is unfolding already, it's the win. It's just so, I'm so joyous about it, so grateful, so appreciative. So if it were to all of a sudden not fully manifest at this time, it's because, oh, wow. So as cool as that looked, you mean there's something even better waiting behind that? Wow, that's exciting, because this looked really promising and exciting. And so that's the difference, guys, when we're learning how to call in what's in our vibrational escrow and align with it, is you can have the expectation, you can set the idea, you can set the wheels in motion, but with a healthy sense of detachment, because knowing it's always serving your highest good. It's always working for you. And sometimes that is leads that go somewhere, ideas that go somewhere, and then sort of they fizzle out. That's not fully the path for you. That being said, like I said, I'm extremely optimistic. I mean, it felt like meeting an old friend. Like, this person has felt like so much like soul family. It's like, there you are. Like, thank you for showing up. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear those of you who'd be interested in coming to the Mystic Manor, and all, the details coming soon. That would happen, probably wouldn't really take possession of the property until the spring, and then people would start coming, spring, summer, something like that, and probably have one room, maybe two. It's a 6-bedroom, 6,000 square foot house, 12,000 foot lot, which is massive in Venice. I mean, it just looks like a spaceship landed on this property. It's brand new, incredible. I mean, wait till you guys see it. But I'd love to hear, anyone who'd be interested in taking that a little vacay, spending some time with me and being on this new video show, which I'm super excited about putting together. You can drop me an email, brandon@positivehead.com. And might not get back to you right away. I'm just going to kind of save names of people or emails of people who are interested. So as the details develop, what it'll cost, how it'll work, what you'll be participating in detail, then I have your information to get back to you about it. So drop me a line and just say yes. I'm interested. Let me know as details unfold. And exciting, huh? You can feel the excitement. This is going to be one heck of a year. I actually listened to this morning a little clip. I went a little longer than I expected to go here in my excitement recounting this story to you all. But I'm going to share a clip real quick that I found where Abraham talks about the universe and signs. And I found it on the Good News Team YouTube page. It's pretty short. This is Abraham talking about universe signs and following them. Take a listen.
Hello. I've made a list of questions since I saw you at the last seminar. And one of them is that I was curious if the universe or even Abraham gives signs. For example, I was introduced to The Secret and to ask and it's given from my girlfriend, who, by the way, wants to kill me because she always wants to come up here. And when I first heard about it, I was very open-minded, but it seemed a little foreign to me, the idea of channeling and non-physical entities and everything, but I was open-minded. And as I was turning the corner to her place, I saw a car right in front of me, and on the back it said Abraham. And I've never seen a brand Abraham. I've seen Toyota. I mean, it was literally like it said Toyota. So, what's up? Is that me manifesting it, telling myself, or is that some kind of sign from you or the universe? Or
this may be the strangest question that anyone has ever asked us in this sense. Within me was pulsing a question to which I received an answer, and is it really the answer to my question? In other words, am I really powerful enough that when I ask for something, it will be given to me straight away? It's a pretty interesting question, isn't it? The answer to the question is yes, 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 yes. When we talk about this vibrational escrow, we're not kidding you about it. Do you get it that before there is any manifestation, there is a pre-paving of vibration or thought first? And once something has been thought into alignment, then and only then does the manifestation come about. So when you have those sort of interesting signs, what it means is you're on the vibrational wavelength of the answer to your question. And the universe literally is just feeding you a never-ending stream of those kinds of signs, leading you in the direction of the fulfillment of your never-ending stream of expanding ideas of how life would be better for you. We want you to think about creation. I am the creator of my own experience. Let's start with that powerful statement that Seth spoke through Jane. You are the creator of your own reality. So you are the creator of your own reality. What that really means is you are the projector of the thought that law of attraction will respond to. And rather than thinking in terms of creating your reality, use another word, rendezvousing with your reality. Vibrationally rendezvousing. Law of attraction says that which is likened to itself is drawn. So what creation is rendezvousing. Now, there are endless things out there that physically surround you that you are not rendezvousing with because they are of a different vibrational nature than you are. You could walk down the streets of Manhattan with millions of other people on any given period of time, and as you are moving about, you're having your unique experience that is based upon your unique vibration. You could be two people walking in the same vicinity having opposite experiences because you're rendezvousing with different things even in a given area. And if you had an aerial view of it, you might find it ironic or interesting that two people could be in such close physical proximity and having such entirely different experiences, but that would be because you're not factoring in the only thing that really matters, which is the vibrational countenance. Rendezvousing constantly with whatever is active in your vibration. So, of course, when you say, I'm curious about something and I'm wanting to know if there's anything to, I sincerely want to know. You weren't dabbling in it. You weren't pretending. You sincerely wanted to know if there is anything to this Abraham law of attraction crap. And immediately, a car drives right into your experience and shows you and we want to tell you, when you are in that place of allowing, there are at all times in your experience 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 100 or 1,000 ready to pop right now, synchronistic signs like that, ready right now for your vibrational alignment with them. That's why it is so powerful when you start deliberately reaching. But the universe is always giving you a sign what? A sign of where you are now, a sign of where you are now, a sign of where you are now in relationship to what? That's the big question. A sign of where you are in any point in time in relationship to what? In relationship to who you really are and who you have become, because that's the only thing that matters. It's not a sign in relationship to where someone else is. It's not a sign in relationship to where you ought to be. It's always signs in relationship to where you are and who you have become. And yes, they are real.
Well, you talk about emotional indicators, but this is sort of just outside of you, just things happening that kind of...
Nothing's outside of you. Nothing that comes to you is apart from you, because everything that comes to you is a response to the vibration of you. If there's a lovely person speaking with you, it's in response to your vibration. If there's a trickster or a gangster or a robber or a raper speaking to you, it's in response to your vibration. Nothing comes into your experience that is not vivid, perfect feedback to your vibration. Everything's an indicator. When we first began chatting with Jerry, he said, in his quest to make the world a better place, I think there should be islands of incarceration. All the rapers go to that island and do it to each other, and all the robbers go to that island and do it to each other, and all the murderers go to that island and do it to each other. And we said, you already have those islands. And the group was unsettled about that. How does the raper end up on the island with the rapee? How does the murdered end up on the same island with the murderer? And we say same vibration. Does that mean the rapee is a raper? No, but it means they've got their attention on same. In other words, you cannot focus on anything without activating in your vibration. So whatever is coming to you is a sign, an indicator of your vibration. And when you know it, that's just the best. When those signs are vivid enough, and this is the thing that you're helping us to say, and we love saying it back to you in this way. When you're offering vibration all over the place and you're not doing any of it on purpose, you're just having knee-jerk responses to life. So you're thinking of that because somebody's talking about it, and you're thinking of that because you saw it and you're thinking about that. And then life is giving you back things that replicate those vibrations. There's no feeling of control in any of that, or any feeling of deliberateness in any of that. But when you have deliberately been thinking about Abraham or signs, when you've been deliberately thinking about something and the universe shows it to you and you're able to make the correlation between what you thought and what happened, now you are empowered, you see. So we love it. We watched Esther years ago when she got it, that life is reflected back to her by the way she thinks and feels. So something wonderful would happen and she would crow, I did that. And something not so wonderful would happen and she would say, I did that too. I did that. I did that. And once you acknowledge, I did that, I am the vibrational reason that I am having this experience, now you can love the others because they're just vibrational indicators, and you can make a decision about how the experience feels and then do something about it. There's much more in you we want to hear.
So, I loved this because she talks about vibrational escrow here, and this guy getting the answer to his question right away, right? There was no opposition to it. So it can happen, as she said, yes. When something has been thought into alignment, then it comes about. So you're not as much creating your reality as rendezvousing what you already put in your vibrational escrow in the past. Does that make sense? So really, all of you have so much sitting in your vibrational escrow, waiting for you to be in alignment with trusting the process and the unfolding. The way I spoke about earlier, the way you navigate and approach this stuff with a healthy sense of detachment, not needing it to show up in any certain way. We get so attached to it and showing up in a way that we envisioned it. And then when it doesn't, we're disappointed. And then we're completely out of alignment. And meanwhile, all this stuff is waiting there for you to call it in. The only thing that matters is your vibrational countenance in any given moment. This is an indicator of what you'll see next, right? If you want to know what you'll see tomorrow, look at what you're feeling today. And I thought it was really interesting. I mean, she got into kind of a heavy topic there, this idea of victimhood. And, the way she put it is we already have those islands. And I went down that story, or that that topic before, and it's a heavy one, and I understand it's very, very challenging for a lot of people. But the thing is if the opposite of what she's talking about there is if you think, well, no, someone didn't call that in. It's not a vibrational match to them. It happened to them. Well, that actually creates the identity of victimhood existing, right? Even if someone did create something really painful, isn't it more empowering to think, okay, I created that, I created the things I love and I created the things I don't. And I have the power going forward to understand this process more and create a lot less of the pain and suffering. To me, that is such a more powerful perspective to grasp. And I know, like I said, a lot of people have been through some really, really challenging stuff, and my heart is with you. I just want to empower you. And I think that's what Abraham's doing here, Esther's doing here, is wants to empower you to know that on a go forward, you can, you hold the cards. You're not subject to some external thing that is outside of your control, right? I've heard her talk about it before. They're actually not being evil. There's, wellness is the natural state. Sickness is like the absence of it. Or, clarity is the natural state. Confusion is just the absence of it. Abundance is your natural state. Poverty is just the absence of it. So if there were a force for evil, you notice those synchronicities, right? There's, it's like, you don't go into a room and flip a switch to turn on the dark, right? You remove the light. You don't flip on the switch and an inky blackness comes in, right? Mist. So that's pretty powerful to realize. It's just the absence. Any of these painful things are just the absence of what, your natural birthright is, right? And we're all learning how to navigate and get more conscious and aware of how to be in alignment with, the truth of our being, which is abundance and clarity and wellness and all these things that each and every one of us deserves. Well, with that being said, I'm going to read this. I said I would read this email that I received a little bit ago, just as it continues to unfold. This came in from Deanna. She said, Brandon, I just have to share this with you. I had this massive realization shift this past week, realizing how I truly limit myself because I allow fear to creep in. More specifically, the fear of failure and the fear of not being able to support myself financially. I thought probably Brandon will have a great podcast about fear. So I went to positivehead.com, typed in fear, and 11 podcasts came up with the word fear in the title or in the description. One was called The Fear of Failure. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. So on my way to work this morning, I hit play and began to listen to episode 833. And lo and behold, the listener review you read in it was mine from months ago. An episode based on what I have most been working on, breaking the cycles of fear, overcoming self-sabotaging mindset. And this was the episode where my review was queued up to be read. It's such a beautiful world. All the best, Deanna. How cool is that? A little more magic to leave you with on this day. Deanna, thank you for sharing your synchronicity story. Magic is real. I do have a song. Actually, I'm going to play both. So it's Ayla Nerio, who I love. I adore her music. And this song is called Let It In. And there's also a remix. Another artist I love, Ataya, remixed the song. So I'm going to play the regular version of Let It In with Ayla Nerio and then the Ataya remix back to back. Give you double your manifestation powers, double the abundance with the musical goodness today. Thank you all so much for taking this wonderful ride. I look forward to meeting a lot of you in 2019 in 3D. Let's make it happen. Till next time, journey well. Also, before we cue up today's song, I wanted to let you all know that we have finally created the Game with the Universe on our website, where you can choose the first number that comes to your mind, and it'll pull up that episode number of the podcast. I've been saying this is a great way to co-create synchronicity and magic with your higher self for quite some time by doing this manually. But now, if you go to positivehead.com YO Universe. There is a super fun and simple interface to play this game with your higher self. I firmly believe just by setting the intention to play in this way, it opens up the door for magic, and it's a synchronistic way to hone in on nuggets of wisdom out of the huge catalog of episodes that are specifically appropriate for you at this time in your journey to becoming the next greatest and grandest version of yourself. And it also makes for a super fun way to engage and invite friends, family, people on social media to check out the podcast as well. So be sure to check out positivehead.com/YOUNIVERSE and be sure to tell all your friends so they can play a game with the universe, which also helps the show to reach new people, which I greatly appreciate. And as a quick reminder, be sure to also check out positivehead.com/transformation if you're curious to learn more about Purium superfoods and why I take them every day. On this journey of becoming the next greatest and grandest version of ourselves that we have all embarked upon, I can't stress the importance of managing your physical vibration enough. And quite honestly, Purium has put together the simplest plan I've found to do so, and I'm sincerely excited to share it with all of you. Lastly, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is my personal go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear me constantly say, it's a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration. And if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place I know of to do it, period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out.
Ought to be away from the thing God, it won't stop till I let it all in. Ought to be away from the thing God, it won't stop till I let it all in. Ought to be away from the thing God, it won't stop till I let it in. To be away from the thing God, it won't stop till I let it all in. She told me as I woke from walking alone at night. She said your feet are heavy, your feet standing deeper than you know, farther than you go. This wild mother, she told me one morning, right, child, you've got to run on my back, farther than you've ever gone before, deeper than you've ever known before. Run right to your edges, right to the edges, right to the edge of your edge. Jump off that cliff, dive in below. Jump off that cliff, and you let it in.